Christine has shared that with me. Meri has shared that with me. And also Janelle has shared that with me.
They haven't shared it with me off camera.
Do you need to hear that from them to be able to be purely happy with Kody?
Yes. I need it off camera to my face.
Robyn's got some real nerve. She says it's disrespectful to live her happy little life with Kody unless the exes give her their blessing to her face. I get why she thinks they should cater to her needs. After all, Kody's been bullying and controlling them into pandering to her every whim for years. But let's be real here, he went too far. And now, well, everyone, from the OG3 to their kids, has dropped them like last week's rotten cabbage. At this point, not one person cares about what Robyn needs or thinks. Let's be clear, Savannah probably needed to hear from her dad over Christmas. Isabel definitely needed her dad when she was going through surgery. Meri, bless her heart, could have really used some love from her sister wife during the chaos of coronavirus. Janelle, she just needs a permanent home on the land she owns. Everyone else has been busy dealing with real-life stuff. Robyn, the last thing they should be doing is giving a grown woman who's comfortably living in a house with her husband and kids a permission slip to be happy. Seriously, they've all got their own lives to live. Kody and Robyn seem to think they're the flowers of this family, and everyone else is just there to play gardener, making sure they get to bloom. It's cute, but honestly, I'm not sure they'll even manage as a couple without all those gardeners working overtime. And you know Robyn will want this on camera. Because, hey, anything for a paycheck, right? Let's not forget the OG3. They've all suffered, each in their own way, thanks to their marriages with Kody, and especially after he married Robyn. To ask them for something like this, it's a slap in the face to everything they've gone through. It shows just how completely Robyn fails to understand the OG3's experiences and pain. They've all said that Robyn's arrival in the family was a major factor in the breakdown of their marriages. And for her to ask them to give her their blessing to be happy with Kody, well, that's just the definition of being out of touch. We've got so much to dive into today, so let's not waste any time. Let's jump straight into it. Hey everyone, what's up? It's Elena here, and welcome back to my channel Reality Nexus X. Oh, Tony. Seriously, I just started watching the show this month from the beginning, and I've somehow made it all the way to my Kelty and Tony's wedding. I literally cannot stand this guy. Like, from the moment he casually asked if they could just get a loan to pay for the wedding, while asking for her hand in marriage, I had the worst feeling about him. But hey, I tried to keep an open mind, right? Wrong. Watching him plan his wedding has been a nightmare. I don't even know where to start, but let's begin with his ridiculous taco situation. Tacos. 4,000 tacos. Really, Tony? 4,000. He thinks 10 tacos per person is a reasonable amount. I'd be lucky to get through 4, and he's out here assuming every guest is going to chow down like they've never seen a taco before. I'm honestly sitting here, wondering if I should just fast forward through all his scenes, because seeing him is honestly making me want to stop watching. He's unbearable, but hey, that's my rant. I needed to get it off my chest. And just to clarify, yeah, they did run out of food at the wedding, so I guess he wasn't entirely wrong. Still, it doesn't excuse how annoying he is. Also, that comment about taking out a loan, yeah, a total dig at Kody. I've heard that's his way of getting under Kody's skin. Apparently, Tony covered most of the wedding costs, not Kody. Go figure. As a Mexican who lives 60 miles from the US/Mexico border, I get what Tony was going for with the tacos, even if he's still annoying. If you've ever had authentic street tacos, like the ones they sell off carts in Mexico, you'd know they're about half the size of a Taco Bell taco. So 10 per person, that's normal. But if you're not serving alcohol, then you better make sure there's enough food. But yeah, overall, he's still a massive prick. Anyway, once you understand he's probably trolling Kody, which is why he's making those comments, maybe you'll start to like him a little more. The taco thing's been discussed before, and a lot of people have pointed out that it's authentic. however you want to define that. But even if you get where he's coming from, he's still to me. Hot take: Meri and Kody were the original soulmates. On my first rewatch, I honestly thought that, but now it's pretty clear Kody was more in love with Meri than with Christine and Janelle. Like, he let Meri get away with way more than he ever would have tolerated from anyone else. Well, at least until Robyn showed up and the catfish drama hit the fan. Honestly, that's probably why Meri stuck around as long as she did. Edit: when I say soulmates, I'm talking about the term they threw around in the later seasons with Kody and Robyn. Not that Kody has any real capacity to love anyone more than he loves himself. But let's be real, Meri and Kody, total OG soulmates. It's obvious, especially from the comments in the last season, that he and Janelle were more like good buddies who happened to have a great sex life. Now, Kody married Meri first, and they actually dated like a normal couple, and crazy thought, they liked each other. Shocking, I know. This is where I think first wives have a little more sway in the family dynamic. They're chosen for love, not just as part of some grand plural marriage plan. After Meri, Janelle stepped in, probably because she brought in some extra cash. Oh, and it was fun because Kody got to sleep with someone new and break in a new wife. Plus, Janelle and Meri didn't exactly get along, so that probably added a little extra thrill for her. Plus, Janelle was fertile, which was a bonus. Then there was Christine. She was added to make the magic number 3, which was required to reach the highest level of heaven. Very practical. And, of course, Robyn popped up 16 years later because Kody was bored, and, well, Robyn was skinny. But honestly, Meri and Kody would have stayed together forever if they were just your average non-Mormon couple from Kansas, without any other wives involved. I'm not sold on the idea that any of them, including Robyn and Kody now, are soulmates. It's honestly more basic than that. Kody, Meri, Janelle, and Christine were all raised in these super controlled, small-town religious settings, where to have socially acceptable sex, you had to get married. So none of them were exactly prepared for the whole husband and father thing. Kody was especially underqualified. No education, no career plans, nothing. Plural marriage gave him a legally approved way to cheat, while the other wives just had to compete for his attention. From the start, things were unstable. Kody's whole dynamic with Robyn is just textbook second marriage vibes, where the kids from his first family get pushed aside while he focuses on the new one. And hey, don't forget the nice little TLC paycheck. Robyn's marriage to Kody has been cushioned by reality TV money from day one, which is a whole different financial world than what the OG 3 wives and their kids experienced pre-TLC. I finally got around to watching Christine's wedding specials last night, first time since it aired. And yes, I've already seen the entire show before the jaw-dropping news dropped earlier this month. But honestly, seeing most of the Brown family come together again was surprisingly heartwarming. So much so, I had to jot down who was there and who wasn't. You'd think it was a family reunion, but my second column, the ones who weren't there, was suspiciously short. Hearing Hunter or Gabe, whoever it was, talk about how amazing it was to have the family back together made me realize something. The true nuclear family in the Brown clan, it's Christine and the OG 13 kids. They're the ones who bring the fun, the joy, the chaos, basically the party. But I had to share my feelings about that wedding. It was honestly one of the warmest moments the show has given us. The whole thing felt like a beautiful reset, like leaving behind the ugly, toxic side of plural marriage they'd experienced and starting fresh with something lighter and happier. And let's be real, for the kids, well, except truly, it must have been kind of amazing to show up as adults, respected, welcomed, and treated like actual individuals. They have all lived through such a weird and difficult journey, so I'm rooting for them to create lives filled with real joy and real love going forward. As for the wedding itself, hoo boy, Christine was all over David, and who can blame her? She got everything from him that Kody never gave her. I kind of feel bad for David though. I mean, that poor guy probably had the stamina of a marathon runner after that night, if you catch my drift. Dude was probably walking like a penguin for a few days. Here's a truly unpopular opinion. I think the show could. Wait for it. Go on. Shocking, right? But hear me out, it might actually help people. Recently, I've been reflecting on this because of a real-life situation. A person I know, who had struggled mentally for years, died by suicide. Of course, everyone knew about his struggles, though it was always whispered in hushed tones. He'd lash out, sever ties with people, and generally keep everyone at arm's length. So when we found out the cause of death, no one was shocked. The truth was there, though, fun fact, the obituary decided to omit it. Oh, the obituaries. They love to get creative with the truth. Instead of being straight up about the cause of death, they'd rather go with the usual, like lost the battle with cancer, or succumbed to injuries from a car crash, or, my personal favorite, died at home from a sudden and catastrophic illness. But this guy, his obit, not a single mention of his struggles, not even a hint or a euphemism. If you read it, you'd think he was basically living his best life, stress-free and basking in sunshine, never facing an ounce of hardship. It was a straight-up fairy tale, in contrast to how a coworker handled her loved one's obituary, the one who also died by suicide. She wrote, succumbed to his years-long battle with depression. She wasn't trying to sugarcoat anything. She told people openly, no beating around the bush, that he had died by suicide, and they made it clear how they were dealing with everything, including their own mental health, in the aftermath. And guess what? It saved lives. Because of their openness, a family friend, who knew the whole story, showed up at their door at 3 a.m. instead of going through with their own suicidal thoughts. Several others admitted that their openness inspired them to seek help, either therapy, meds, or just talking about their mental health without feeling ashamed. If you ask me, that's a game changer. Here's where the whole thing gets interesting. There's a stigma attached to mental health, but this family took it on headfirst. They didn't try to hide it, and in doing so, they changed lives. The stigma about breast cancer used to be the same way. No one talked about it. People were too polite to mention it, and it led to a lot of missed opportunities to educate and help others. Now, look at how far we've come with that. It's the same thing with mental health. Being open can save lives. So if this person had died any other way, do you think there would be any outcry about the show being canceled? I doubt it. But because it was suicide, people are ready to throw in the towel. Why is that? On a personal note, I lost a sibling when I was 11. She was 9. It completely shattered my family. I sometimes wish there was more content out there about families who lose children, not just the usual infant loss stories, which seem to get all the attention. But here's the catch. The family has not been honest about their experience. They've lied for 17 years, showing a false version of their grief to the viewers. If they were upfront, maybe the narrative would be different. But honesty, it seems, is still a rarity. Is it just me, or is it a little too ironic that Kody, in the very first episode, talks about wanting to do something dramatic like cutting down a tree? Fast forward to the final episode, and what do we get? Yep, Kody, once again being dramatic, cutting down a tree. But here's the kicker. All along, they've used trees as this big symbolic thing for their family. Remember the family commitment ceremony? They had a cake shaped like a tree. So here's the universe subtly telling us, Kody really did cut down the tree. And by tree, they mean his family. He left it there, lifeless, with zero care, all for the sake of his ego and desperate need for attention and validation. Oh, and let's not forget Meri. She spent all that time creating those paintings of trees for the family. I'm honestly curious where those pieces ended up. Probably in a dumpster somewhere, right? Oh, here we go again with the obsession over safety. It's like I'm watching a therapy session on repeat, only instead of working through real issues, they're just throwing around buzzwords like it's the latest trend. Every time I turn around, someone's worried about being safe. One wife wants her house to be a safe haven for everyone. Another wife's kids don't feel safe with their siblings. Kody needs to know that he's safe with whichever wife happens to be on his schedule. And of course, one wife doesn't feel safe around another. Are these people really that fearful, or have they just been in therapy so long that they've started to think that using this jargon makes them sound deep and emotionally mature? Honestly, it's like weaponized therapy speak. A mishmash of overused phrases they clearly don't quite understand, but think make them sound all self-aware. The real issue? They all have this massive gaping wound where their need for safety has been completely ignored their whole lives. And now, it's just this festering thing they keep throwing around to avoid facing the actual problem. In my opinion, it's just passive-aggressive manipulation. Like, if Robyn says she doesn't feel safe around Garrison and Gabe, it's not because of anything really dramatic. They just had a disagreement. But now, the phrase, "I don't feel safe," implies that the boys somehow did something dangerous to her. It turns the whole situation into this one-sided drama where the speaker is always the victim of the other party's abusive actions. It's a neat little way to avoid responsibility, isn't it? Christine couldn't help but laugh at Kody's antics when he talked about his COVID experience. He had the audacity to claim that his battle with COVID in December 2023 was somehow worse than his first run-in with it in December 2020. Sure, he was on an immunosuppressant, but the way he carried on, you'd think he was one step away from death's door. Honestly, it was almost impressive how he managed to turn a mild case into an epic tragedy. If it had been anyone in my family, we would have been cracking up. But Kody? Nah, he can't seem to take anything lightly. The guy just loves to hold on to every dramatic moment. Honestly, if he doesn't learn how to laugh at himself, he's doomed to be perpetually miserable. Christine was definitely laughing at the absurdity of it all, especially when Kody acted like he'd been locked in a dungeon, suffering through the worst illness known to mankind. From what the wives were saying, Kody's version of coronavirus sounds like the worst case of man flu anyone's ever witnessed. And I should know, I'm a nurse, and so is my mom. As soon as I saw Kody's temp of 99.8 and his over-the-top antics, I texted my mom. We both had a good laugh. Honestly, it was the most melodramatic display of mild symptoms I've ever seen. Robyn, on the other hand, had her own dramatic moment, but it wasn't exactly a hospital-worthy crisis. Her anxiety about the virus seemed to have pushed her to the hospital, but the doctors gave her lungs the all-clear, so she really should be counting her blessings. But let's not forget Kody's hypocrisy here. When he was sick, he expected Janelle to drop everything and wait outside his house. But when Janelle got coronavirus, there was zero mention of what he did for her. I'm guessing it was probably nothing. He probably just blamed her for not keeping the boys quarantined. It's funny how his near-death experience didn't even require hospitalization, while Robyn got a trip to the ER but wasn't even admitted. I'd be a little more sympathetic if they had done anything to actually minimize their risks, like, say, getting vaccinated or following their own restrictions for the kid who brought the virus into the house. But, well, that's just not their style. Did anyone else catch truly, barely audible whispering, "I thought I was your sweetie," in the most heartbroken voice? You could see she was about to burst into tears until she noticed the camera was on her. Then, in a move that could only be described as expertly executed, she quickly turned away from the camera and her dad. My heart shattered for her. It's just such a glaring example of how Robyn's kids have completely taken over the family dynamic. Nicknames that were once a part of one child's identity are now casually handed off to the new kids, without a second thought to the emotional toll it has on the child they were originally meant for. Honestly, TLC should air that moment on the next Look Back episode. Throw in a clip of Gabe breaking down from season 17 and Isabel reacting to the cruel comments Kody made about her surgery, just to really hammer it home. It's time TLC stops treating Kody like some fragile, misunderstood man and makes him face the ugly truth, how badly he's treated his own kids over the years. Sure, we all know his response will be the same: deflect, blame everyone else, and cry poor me. But he deserves to sit there on national TV and actually confront it. His kids need that closure if they're ever going to heal from the mess he's made. Oh, and don't forget to include that clip of Isabel crying for him after her surgery. You know, just to really make it hit. Let me know what you think in the comments. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to my channel. I'll see you in the next video. Take care and much love to you all.